You might have heard that depression is a result of a chemical imbalance in your brain. And while brain chemistry might be part of the picture, that explanation leaves people feeling like there's nothing that they can do. And I want to offer you a different perspective today. Depression is a complex mix of biological, psychological, and environmental factors. It can involve brain chemistry, genetic traits, hormones mixed with personal life experiences, trauma, and chronic stress. Depression can be cleared or managed better. How do I know? Because my team and I regularly work with people who are navigating depression and mood disorders. So if you're living with depression or have persistent low mood, this video is for you. Today, I will go over what depression is and the symptoms people experience. I'm also going to touch on the different types of depression and explain how trauma and non-trauma factors can be the underlying cause. I'll then give you a quick review of EMDR therapy and go through how EMDR therapy can be an effective treatment for depression. At the end of this video, I'll give you 6 reasons why you may look at EMDR therapy as part of the solution for depression. I've time-stamped these topics with links in the description, so feel free to skip ahead to what's most relevant for you. But first, hi there, my name is Ashley Phillips. I'm a practicing trauma therapist and the founder of the Kelowna EMDR Clinic. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I often post videos about trauma, different ways that it affects people, and my favorite trauma therapy, EMDR. If these topics are of interest to you, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Not only will it place my future videos in your feed, it will also help others discover this information. Everyone experiences periods of low mood and subdued energy. And if these episodes are infrequent and short-lived, I'd say it's normal and you don't need to worry about it. Depression, on the other hand, is a mood disorder that goes beyond typical mood fluctuations, often interfering with your daily life, your health, and relationships. And it's actually quite common. Canadian Mental Health Association estimates that 1 in 7 Canadians experience depression at some point in their lives. And Gallup reports that nearly 1 in 5 American adults report experiencing or being treated for depression in 2026. That's wild. Depression is characterized by a persistent feeling of sadness, emptiness, hopelessness, and a loss of interest in activities. Other symptoms of depression include low self-esteem or feeling of worthlessness, sleep disruptions like having trouble sleeping or sleeping too much, a loss of appetite or overeating with associated weight gain or weight loss, fatigue, low energy, difficulty concentrating, difficulty making decisions, and finally thoughts of death, suicide ideation, or suicide attempts. There are several types of depression that people can get diagnosed with, and I don't think this video would be complete without briefly going over them. The DSM-5 classifies depressive disorders into 5 categories. Let's go through them. The first is major depressive disorder, or MDD. It's characterized by intensely experiencing feelings of depression for most of the day, nearly every day, for at least 2 weeks. Depressive episodes are intense and severe, and they're highly debilitating in terms of daily life. Next is persistent depressive disorder, or PDD. It's less intense than MDD, but more chronic. To be diagnosed with PDD, an adult would have to experience the symptoms of depression for at least 2 years. A child would qualify for a PDD diagnosis after 1 year. Another depressive disorder is disruptive mood dysregulation disorder. This diagnosis is given to children and youth between the ages of 6 to 18 when symptoms begin before they are 10 years old. It's characterized by intense and severe irritability, temper outbursts, and anger, which can cause significant disruptions at home, at school, and with peers. Then there's premenstrual dysphoric disorder, or PMDD, which is a severe form of premenstrual syndrome, aka PMS. And it's characterized by extreme mood shifts, irritability, anxiety, and depression leading into the days of menstruation. Lastly, in the DSM-5, we have the depressive disorder due to another medical condition, where, as the name suggests, the person experiences depression as a result of another separate illness. Now, you may wonder why the DSM-5 doesn't mention seasonal affective disorder or postpartum depression. Well, actually it does, but it's not as a standalone category. Seasonal affective disorder, which is depression triggered by changing seasons, is classified as the major depressive disorder with seasons pattern. Depression associated with pregnancy is also classified as MDD with postpartum onset. I also feel it's important to mention that establishing a depression diagnosis is considerably more involved than what I've described above. I'm merely highlighting the main points and the differences between the different types of depression. But if you want me to make a video doing a deeper dive on depression diagnoses as outlined in the DSM-5, let me know in the comments below. Now let's talk about trauma, how it can lead or contribute to depression. Trauma and depression are deeply intertwined, with people who experience trauma being much more likely to experience episodes of depression. How much more likely? A study that looked at psychiatric disorders of survivors of the Oklahoma City bombing found an increase in depression from 13% before the bombing to 23% after the bombing. U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs references a large national study that showed that depression is nearly 3 to 5 times more likely in those with PTSD than those without. And it really doesn't take a lot of research to see that there are a number of studies showing that PTSD and major depressive disorder, or MDD, commonly occur together. People who experience trauma early in life are more likely to develop symptoms of anxiety, depression, and substance use disorders later on. Large-scale studies of civilian and veteran samples show that between half to 4 out of 5 individuals with established PTSD diagnosis also experience depression. There are several mechanisms explaining how trauma can lead to depression. One mechanism is through what I'll call the burnout of the nervous system. For example, a child who grows up in an unstable, unpredictable environment, having to be hyper alert, constantly on the lookout for danger, their nervous system can get worn down and exhausted over time. Exposure to stress activates the HPA axis in our bodies, which is primarily responsible for releasing cortisol into our bloodstream. Chronically high levels of cortisol can lead to feelings of numbness, disinterest, and detachment, and eventually manifest as depression, anxiety, mood disorders, and other issues. Another mechanism is through childhood experiences such as bullying, teasing, or emotional neglect. Imagine a child is being teased constantly while they're growing up. They think it's their fault they're being teased, that there's something wrong with them, or that they're not good enough. They grow up to be an adult who has depression from these experiences. Then there's behavioral model of depression, and that also explains the link to small t trauma. A person who experiences a traumatic event like a breakup or a job loss will often modify their behavior and avoid activities, situations, or environments that may be triggering for them. This eliminates opportunities for positive, pleasurable experiences. Then they also isolate and withdraw themselves from family, friends, and society in general. For example, after you lose your job, you stop playing in your weekly basketball game that you loved going to. Instead, you hang on the couch and you watch TV all night in a dark room and continually to isolate yourself. Now, I want to quickly touch on non-trauma causes of depression because it's not always about trauma. Other causes can include serious, chronic, or long-term illness, hormonal fluctuations such as thyroid, estrogen, testosterone, long-term physical or emotional stress, seasonal affective disorder, grief, nutrition such as vitamin D or iron deficiencies, sleep disorders like sleep apnea, and drug or alcohol overuse or addictive behaviors. Now that we're aware of the connection between trauma and depression, let's talk about the role that EMDR therapy can play in all of this. For those of you hearing about EMDR for the first time, it stands for Eye Movement Desensitization and Reprocessing. And it's a type of psychotherapy that is widely used in clinical settings to help people heal from trauma and distressing life experiences. It was developed by psychologist Francine Shapiro in the 1980s, and since then has been extensively researched and proven highly effective at treating various trauma-related conditions. I like to explain it to my clients through an analogy. Much like the body heals from physical wounds, the brain will often heal on its own from its psychological wounds caused by trauma. However, sometimes the mind gets stuck on a traumatic experience and it never actually heals. This stuck trauma will manifest itself in a variety of symptoms, depression being a common one. EMDR therapy helps the brain loosen the stuck trauma, allowing natural healing to resume. This not only reduces the emotional intensity of what happened, but a really cool positive consequence of healing from trauma is the elimination of associated trauma-related conditions. So if you experience a traumatic event that resulted in depression, by dealing with the underlying trauma, we also deal with the depression at the exact same time. Seeing this in practice is one of the reasons why I was so drawn to EMDR therapy as a therapist. It's important to work with a therapist who specializes in depression in order to have a thorough history taking to map out your story, look at all the underlying factors that we've talked about today to create the best treatment plan. Treating depression is like radiation therapy. We want to be spot on with your treatment to get the best results. And if you're interested in learning more about EMDR therapy, I have other videos on my channel that you might find interesting, including a deeper dive into all 8 phases of EMDR. I'll put the link in the description below. Before I wrap up, I'm going to go over 6 reasons why I believe EMDR therapy is one of the best tools for treating trauma-related depression. Reason number 1, EMDR targets the root cause of depression, not just the symptoms. I discovered EMDR a number of years into my career as a therapist, and what I found so compelling is how it goes after the source of the problem. Many other therapies and treatments, on the other hand, focus on managing the symptoms, and I wanted my clients to actually get better, not just finding ways of coping. Reason number 2, EMDR helps your brain do what it already knows how to do, which is heal. I really like that. It's less about learning new tricks and behavioral patterns and more about clearing the path and getting out of the way. Reason number 3, EMDR therapy can help eliminate the need for prescription drugs. Yes, medication can be very effective and at times even necessary to deal with depression, but many people don't want to take medication for years. EMDR therapy offers a path for a person to heal from trauma, get rid of their depression, and be able to eliminate the need for antidepressants. Reason number 4, EMDR therapy can treat depression faster than other talk therapies like CBT. I've seen this in my own practice. I've had a number of clients who've been in therapy for quite a long time, giving EMDR a try and showing noticeable improvements after a handful of sessions when we're dealing with a more simplistic depression. So ultimately, EMDR therapy can save you time and money. Okay, reason number 5, you might find this surprising, but EMDR therapy doesn't require you to recall and relive your traumatic experience in painstaking detail. And I find this really compelling because people, understandably, frequently have reservations about revisiting their trauma. And finally, reason number 6, EMDR therapy doesn't have extensive homework associated to it. With my clients, I simply ask them to practice emotional regulation strategies and keep a log of how their symptoms are improving. I hope that after watching this video, you have a better understanding of depression and how trauma can be the underlying cause. If you're currently struggling with depression, I know it is difficult, but it can get better, and there are resources that are available through the medical system, support groups, hotlines, and therapy. Friends and family can also provide wonderful support. And if you know someone with depression or someone going through a hard time, reach out to them and see how they're doing. Maybe even share this video with them. For those of you who are curious about trying EMDR therapy, but you're not sure if you have time for weekly sessions, check out a video I did on EMDR Intensives. I'll put up a link here. EMDR Intensives are a great way to get a lot of therapy done in a compressed amount of time. Check it out. I'll see you there.